November 24th, 2024 Board Business Meeting at Memphis-Shelby County Schools. Ms. Clark, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKissick,
Here.
Commissioner Garcia,
Here.
Commissioner Porter,
Here.
Commissioner Murphy,
Here.
Commissioner Love,
Here.
Commissioner McKinney,
Present.
Commissioner Otay,
Here.
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Vice Chair Coleman.
Here.
You have 9 present.
We do have a quorum. Thank you. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and posting of colors? Tonight's posting of colors is presented by Kirby High School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. The question is now on the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments? Superintendent Fagans.
Madam Chair, we would like to remove item 12.1 for further legal review.
Board members. Commissioner McKinney.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to pull the ad hoc committee, and I'd like to pull that, noting for my fellow board members that I'm asking for that to go to committee once we do our annual board committees. Okay. All right, and I'd also like to add the policy board general counsel policy. Okay. Board district general counsel. It's not numbered at this point, but the title of it is board district general counsel.
that'll come up on policy's first reading.
It will come under policy's first reading.
Yep.
There being no further amendments to the agenda, is there a motion for the approval of the agenda? Motion by Commissioner Love, second by Commissioner McKinney. Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
I'm sorry. Yes.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams, Vice Chair Coleman.
Aye.
You have 9 in the affirmative.
Thank you. The agenda is approved. We are now on to public comment. In accordance with state statute, the board shall reserve a period for public comments during business and special call meetings. Only those members of the public who submit public comment cards to the board chairman prior to the commencement of this meeting shall be permitted to address the board. Public comments shall be taken in the order in which the public comment cards are received. A sign-up sheet for public comment will become available 30 minutes prior to each applicable meeting and will be closed at the start of the meeting. This sign-up is located at the entryway table just past the security checkpoint. Speakers must state their name, organization he or she is representing, if any, and subject of their comment before they are permitted to proceed. Speakers may offer objective comments about school operations and programs that concern them. Speakers are asked to refrain from using name of personnel or names of persons connected with the school system, particularly when lodging a complaint. Speakers will not be permitted to engage in gossip, make defamatory comments, or use abusive or vulgar language. The chairman shall have the authority to terminate the remarks of any individual who is disruptive and does not adhere to board rules. Dr. Schultz, please announce the number of speakers and time allotted per speaker.
There are 5 speakers this evening, 3 minutes each.
Your time is projected on the screen to your right and directly behind the board. When you hear a bell, your time has expired. Our speakers this evening are Dr. Trenton Watson, Jarvis Cook, Samantha Hunt, Liz Marable, and Marilyn Glass. Dr. Trent.
The mic. Again, good evening. My name is Dr. Trenton Watson, principal of Westwood High School, 4480 Westmont, Memphis, Tennessee, 38109. I have been asked to come here this evening to speak about how the district has supported me as a principal. And I want to be specific. Now, I know Vice Chair Coleman, and I can't say names specifically, but I'm not complaining. So I need to be able to say a couple of names, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, to talk about the support. I'll start with Dr. Richmond, who has long supported me as an educator. Even before becoming a principal, has always poured into me as an educator, giving me tidbits of advice on how to move, knowing that one day I aspired to be a leader, and then once becoming, even before he got the position that he's in now, has supported me at Westwood, and I'm very thankful for him. To Alicia Kiner, who keeps her foot on my neck about the things that we're doing in the school. She not only coaches, and she doesn't look at challenges, but she coaches and pinpoints opportunities for growth in our school, and I'm very thankful to her. And she's a constant mentor, and I'm very appreciative of her. To everyone that has been involved in the process at Westwood, we're moving forward, and we are growing specifically in terms of our student population and the things that we're doing at Westwood. Brother Jenkins, I'm thankful to him for his presence at Westwood, coming out to support us. Brother Langston for asking me to be involved in the new movement that's going on in the district. We spend an exuberant amount of time talking about the challenges instead of focusing on the opportunities, and we have to start focusing on the opportunities that we have in this district. Dr. Fagans, we are appreciative of all of the things that are coming down the pike, and we're going to work through all of that so that we can raise to the level of expectations that we all should have in terms of our children. I promise you that if you just keep watching, there are some great things that's going to happen in 38109, especially at Westwood High School. I am pushing the agenda every day to make sure that we are a cut above all the rest. I'm looking for my athletic complex. I know it's coming. I'm going to push until I get it. We're going to do those things because I promise you the alumni is behind all of this because they want to see Westwood be a rising star once again in our district. Thank you.
Good evening to each and every one of you. My name is Jarvis Cook. When I stood here on June 11th, I was an employee with the district, serving as Human Resources Employee Enterprise Analyst. I was here advocating for my colleagues here at the central office. Just 3 days after my speech received media attention, my team and I were informed by an unqualified individual, someone who should have never delivered such news, that our team was being eliminated. The Chief of Human Resources at that time was not informed of this decision, and our former Total Rewards Director also confirmed that he had no prior knowledge of this action, as our team consistently performed high-level work for this district. We were told that June 28 would be our last day in office. However, a member of the superintendent's staff, which is present today, indicated that we were to report back to work that Monday. Yet that Friday evening, all our access was abruptly revoked without any rationale for our termination. We reached out to the superintendent requesting a meeting to discuss our roles and contributions, but these requests were unanswered. Only 2 board members responded to our emails. On August 19th, we filed a formal complaint with the General Counsel's office, and here we are a month later. We have yet to receive any updates on the investigation. This situation is highly unprofessional and has shown a lack of integrity, and we deserve answers. Someone needs to explain to me why our jobs are listed in the approved budget on page 588, but we were still terminated. Also, we applied for other HR positions and school support positions just to remain employed with the district. However, no updates. I was good enough to hire last November, but I'm not good enough to hire right now. We assume that the positions which were created and available to help impacted staff, but we have learned that staff members who were not impacted were moved into those positions. They don't have the qualifications or the skill set. We was contacted August 14th after 7 p.m. to come in and interview the next day for a position at 11 a.m. and no feedback whatsoever. The job postings have been put up and taken down at least 4 times. All of this leads me to believe that this is a result of retaliation, and I am waiting to be proved wrong. I urge each of you to not play the game of politics and do the right thing, because you are playing with people's lives. We had people on our team that dedicated 20 plus years to this district, good talent that could still be here supporting and helping, but you sent them home. You sent them home. We didn't get a thank you for your service. We didn't get an appreciation. All we got was to be dismissed from this district, and it is embarrassing. It is humiliating, and it's not right. And if anyone is okay with this and feel that this is right, God have mercy on your soul.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Greetings to each and every one of you. I am Samantha Hunt.
Wait. Can
I am Samantha Hunt, and I came tonight just to acknowledge that a ratio exists between how teachers teach and how students learn. And that is a statistic that is seemingly ignored here in Memphis and Shelby County. Fortunately, I am equipped with the latest instructional strategies, and as well as scientific research that informs instructional practices and just shapes academics overall. Recently, the superintendent incentivized an incoming cohort, and I believe at the time the incentive was a monetary incentive, about $5,000. When I signed on, my incentive was a 5-year placement agreement. Well, back in 2022, upon completing a nearly $30,000 teaching credential, I was formally inducted here at the Board of Education as an MSCS teacher, and I'm stunned and embarrassed by this extended delay for a report date back to work. I'm part of the working class. I am not stay at home, and I can confidently speak not just as a university graduate of the University of Tennessee, but on behalf of, as a stakeholder of the Tennessee Board of Regents, on on behalf of the National Accreditation for University and Standards and Education Practices everywhere, not just the state of Tennessee, I can say that it's important that we, as graduating employees, when we're hired, if you guys offer us incentives, we would like for you guys to follow through with those. And it's important for us to be where we should be. My start date is delayed, but what is rapid, what continues to grow, is email hacking and crime, gender-based self-proclaimed dominance and intimidation, and payroll schemes and scams. And I just came to say that I don't want to become a victim of that. And those are all things that are dangerous, but we can't afford to ignore them. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Marilyn Glass. I
No,
am
hold
in
on,
my.
Ms. Glass.
I'm sorry.
Miss Marable goes before you.
Ma'am.
Hold on, one before you. Hold
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
You fine?
I thought I counted right.
That was okay. Yes, I'm Liz Marable, President of the United Education Association, 6263 Poplar Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119. The United Education Association has initiated the collaborative conferencing process for educators. The Professional Educators Collaborative Conferencing Act, known as PECA, is how local boards of education and their professional employees are empowered by law to meet and collaboratively discuss and agree to matters of salaries, working conditions, benefits, and other issues important to educators and students. The PECA law requires us to obtain 15% of eligible employee signatures on a petition, and once we have obtained those, we will submit the signatures to this board. This petition will request that a vote be held for all eligible staff, asking whether they want to have collaborative conferencing. UEA is currently gathering signatures, and we know that educators are excited to continue to collaborate with the district. Memphis-Shelby County Schools works best when we all work together, and educators have a voice. We look forward to working with you to ensure a smooth PECA process. On another note, we would like to thank you, the board, our superintendent, Dr. Marie Fagans, school board staff, educators, and all staff, support staff in schools. We'd also like to thank community members, but most importantly, our students and parents for assisting us with the very smooth school opening for this 24-25 school year. Your tremendous service to our children, our district, and our communities is going to bring great results. When we all work together, we truly believe as educators, our students win. UEA, the United Education Association, appreciates the bold vision of the district to make proactive steps to improve literacy, decrease chronic truancy, and other supports in schools where needed. We are pleased with the early results, and we too look forward to that day of reckoning when the scores and the results come in, and we hope to have a huge celebration. Now, we know that we've had a few bumps in the road recently, but we also appreciate the fact that we take ownership of those bumps and we seek ways to improve and be better. And at the end of the day, all 111,000 children reached home safely, and so did all of our employees. Thank you for your tremendous work and for your heartfelt work to the children of this district.
Once again, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Fagans and the entire staff for your support of our students and the teachers in Shelby County Schools. I am Marilyn Glass, and I am in my 31st year of teaching with Memphis-Shelby County Schools. I did my student teaching here. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, there we go. I am Marilyn Glass, and I am in my 31st year of teaching at the Memphis-Shelby County Schools. I did my student teaching in this district, and I've been with this district ever since. I am a nationally board certified teacher, and I tell you, I'm so excited about the teaching and learning that's going on in the schools this year. To everything, there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heavens. Ecclesiastes 3:1. I come to you in this season at this time for the purpose to humbly ask for a rewarding resolution to the teacher's evaluation process and implore you to take action with wisdom. Since the inception of using the TIM rubric as the tool to evaluate teaching and learning with Memphis-Shelby County schools, teachers have thought that we were being evaluated objectively and that as there are clear indicators stating the data that reflects what should be seen, said, and heard to substantiate evaluation results. Policy 4046 provides guidelines for evaluating teachers. It states that the evaluation of teachers should reflect a fair, meaningful, and accurate depiction of a teacher's development, growth, and performance. And it lets us know that results from a teacher's evaluation are used to inform personnel decisions, including rewards and leadership opportunities. It states that the evaluation should be conducted with fidelity. Moreover, there are provisions so that the integrity of the evaluation results is not compromised, and that there are procedures to ensure that the evaluations are fundamentally fair. Policy 4020 states that the supervisors are responsible for adhering to the evaluation process. Using the TIM rubric and having the strength of these policies seem to paint the picture of an objective and fair process. However, this process is flawed. It is flawed because evaluators do not have to provide data nor evidence to reflect what was seen, said, and heard during an observation. They can arbitrarily decide what the evaluation results are and going to be, regardless of what happened during the observation. I am here to ask you to reconsider the policy regarding teacher observations and make it so that the words recommended but not required are no longer part of the process. Teachers deserve to be evaluated with evidence, with data, and data should be required in that evaluation. No administrator should have the power or the ability to arbitrarily score a teacher. They should have to provide evidence. Thank you, and I hope this policy is addressed.
Thank you. We are now on to special order of business, the election of the Shelby County Board of Education Chair and Vice Chair for 2024-2025. Dr. Schultz, we're in your hands.
Well, it's not too heavy a load. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Our parliamentary authority is Robert's Rules of Order, 12th edition. The procedure for election in that volume actually comes out of the 19th century and doesn't serve us particularly well. However, Roberts does allow you to choose a different method, and I'm going to suggest one to you, and if there's no objection, we will use that method. This will look a lot more like what we're used to with elections. Nominations will be opened. You may nominate yourself, by the way. Absolutely, that is your right. A roll call vote is required in our policies. You may vote for one nominee when the roll call is called. There are three things you can say. First, provide the name of the person you're voting for. Second, you may pass, which says that you're not ready to vote yet. Please come back around and ask me again. You may vote present, which means that you are not going to vote, but you would like to be marked as present in the minutes at the time the vote was taken. It will take 5 votes to win. Is there any objection to using this method? Everybody understand it? Roll call, when they come around to you, just say a name or one of the other options. We'll see if we can get 5 votes somehow. You may nominate yourself. You may also vote for yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Your vote is legitimate. You may nominate as many people as you like, but only one at a time to give other people the ability to also nominate. That's it.
The floor is now open for nominations. Commissioner Love
Nominations
for
Chair.
chair, I'm sorry, for chair. Commissioner Love, and then Commissioner Huey Garcia.
I'm going to nominate you, Joyce Coleman.
Thank you,
I have the same nomination.
thank you.
I move to close nominations.
Don't have to if nobody else has nominations. They're closed. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Joyce Dorsey Coleman.
Commissioner Garcia,
Joyce Coleman.
Commissioner Porter,
Joyce Coleman.
Commissioner Murphy,
Joyce Coleman.
Commissioner Love,
Joyce Coleman.
Commissioner McKinney,
Joyce Coleman.
Commissioner Otay,
Joyce Coleman.
Commissioner Williams,
Joyce Coleman.
Vice Chair Coleman.
Joyce Doris Coleman.
You have 9 in the affirmative for Commissioner Coleman. Congratulations.
Joyce Doris Coleman shall serve as the chair for the 2024-2025 school year. Thank you all so much.
Congratulations. It was a tough election.
Now we're on to Vice Chair, Commissioner McKissick.
I'm entering Amber Hugh Garcia's name into a nomination for vice chair.
Commissioner Murphy.
I nominate Stephanie Love for vice chair.
No other nominations. Nominations are closed. Roll call vote.
Excuse me, is it possible for us to hear from our nominees on why they want to serve? Is that something that's permissible? I know it's happened in the past, but I don't know if that's,
There's no rule against it.
okay.
We can do that. If
All right.
Both of you want? You want? Yes.
You were nominated first.
Sure.
Ms. Garcia was nominated first, so our parliamentarian said she go first.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for the nomination, Board Member McKissick. And I'm running for vice chair of Memphis-Shelby County Schools colleagues because I'm ready to elevate my leadership. Just as we had 4 recent additions to the board, throwing my hat in the ring is not about my opponent. It is believing that I am the right leader in the right moment to move the district forward. My personal and professional experiences have brought me to this moment with a deep experience in advocacy, nonprofit, and government. I believe we're entering a time where we can go better, faster, and use the data and listen to stories. And I believe that I'm the right leader for this. I have a track record of clear communication. I am committed to using my strengths to help us set ambitious and feasible goals for our students. And not in this role, nor any role I've ever held, have I been successful alone. And so I'm committed to building deep relationships with each of you so we get the work done and we get our resources to our students, families, staff who need it the most. I am ready to serve, and I ask you to deeply consider a vote for me tonight. Thank you.
I didn't prepare a speech, but I am a ward member, a parent, and a community advocate. My work speaks for itself. You may not always agree with me, but I have the district best in mind. I have the teachers, students best in mind. I have the students best in mind. I am committed to this work. I show up every day
ready to work. You vote for who you want to. But like Amber said, I can't do this work alone, and it's going to take each of us to do the heavy lifting, along with the superintendent and the board chair. Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Board Member Garcia.
Commissioner Garcia,
Amber Hewitt Garcia.
Commissioner Porter,
A pass.
Commissioner Murphy,
Stephanie Love.
Commissioner Love,
Stephanie Love.
Commissioner McKinney,
Stephanie Love.
Commissioner Otay,
Stephanie Love.
Commissioner Williams, Vice Chair Coleman,
Stephanie Love.
Commissioner Porter,
Stephanie Love.
got 6 in the affirmative for Love and 3 for Garcia.
Chair Coleman, if I may, in the spirit of unity and working together as a board to change my vote to Ms. Stephanie Love.
Thank you.
We have 7 in the affirmative for Love and 2 for Garcia.
We are proud to announce that Ms. Stephanie Love will serve as the vice chair for the 2024-2025 school year. Thank you. At this time, I ask all my colleagues if we could take a group photo. We can just come and take a picture. And I'm also very honored that my daughter left her job to come be with her mama on today. Thank you, Marquisha. I love you. The question is now on the approval of the minutes for the following meetings. Approval of the minutes of the August 27, 2024 business meeting. Approval of the minutes of the August 2024 work session. Are there any corrections? There being no corrections, do we have a motion to approve these minutes and a second? Motion by Commissioner Love. Second by Commissioner McKinney. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Chair Coleman.
Aye.
You have 9 in the affirmative.
Thank you. The minutes are listed, the minutes as listed are approved. Superintendent, recognition of grants, gifts, and donations. We are now on to committee reports. At this time, we have a special presentation we would like to do from the board.
Hey, Amber. Hey, Amber. This is Michelle, your seatmate on the dais representing District 1. I just want to wish you a very happy birthday. I so enjoy our time together, and I know just how much fun you are when the cameras aren't rolling at school board meetings, but I look forward to continuing to serve with you on the Memphis-Shelby County School Board.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Amber.
Happy birthday, Amber. Wishing you many more years to come.
Happy birthday, Board Member Garcia. Wishing you all the best. Your hard work and dedication is truly appreciated. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amber. I hope you had a great day.
Happy birthday, Amber. Many more. Enjoy serving with you on the Board of Education, and do be well.
Amber, this is the birthday song. Now I need to know it when you sing it. Sing it when you know it. This is a birthday song. Wait, let's keep going. This is, I gotta touch that. This is a birthday song. It doesn't last that long. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amber. I hope that your month has been just absolutely wonderful. I wish you many, many more happy birthdays. Enjoy.
Tell you how special you are to this board, and we wish you a happy birthday. Very happy birthday.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful, and I honestly, I think it's wonderful to see our personalities come out a little bit here. So thank you for being good supporters and putting it together. So I think I probably get to contribute to some birthday videos now, right? This is a little tradition we're starting. So thank you all. Thank you.
Amber was the first, and we don't know what's going to be next.
I was in the doctor's office when I recorded that video for me.
I was done. I was eating.
For the board chair's report tonight, I would just like to do a couple of special recognitions, and this is something that we're going to do every month for our district, because we have such greatness going on in our district, and we're going to start spotlighting more of it. And the first one is District 2 and 3. They always gonna work together. District 2 and 3, Craig Munt and Raleigh, Egypt. They played a game on Saturday, the 21st, the Raleigh, Egypt Craig Munt High School Classic. Who won?
Raleigh, Egypt.
Okay, we're gonna leave it alone. Congratulations to Raleigh, Egypt on their win, and congratulations to Craig Munt's marching band on winning the Southern Heritage Classic Battle of the Bands. But the principal for Raleigh, Egypt is Dr. Jamie Green, and the principal for Craigmont is Dr. Derek King. And Devontae Kennedy is is the band director. See, it ain't about Melrose, I get all choked up. He has grown this band from 60 members to over 100 students. We also would like to say the TSBA Fall District meeting was recently held, and they wanted to send a special thank you for Memphis because we hosted the TSBA Fall District meeting here. District 8, White Station High School, congratulations on their student-directed, student-led run of Alice in Wonderland Jr. It was a great job. Commissioner Hewitt Garcia got a chance to go see it, and she's been smiling ever since, talking about how wonderful it was. And we just want to recognize and thank everyone for participating. Academic Performance Committee meeting, everything from the Academic Committee is on the agenda tonight. Budget, Audit, and Finance Committee report.
All items are on the agenda tonight.
Charter Schools Committee report.
Thank you, Chair Coleman. We actually had our very first meeting today with the Charter Partnership Council, and it was a lot of just mostly, meet and greet and welcomes and laying out the template of how they're going to move forward and how they will come back and report back to the board. So it's going to be a months-long process, but I will keep you posted. Thank you.
Thank you. Community Outreach and Engagement Committee report.
No report.
Evaluation Committee report. We do have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday, and this is not to evaluate our superintendent. This meeting this Thursday is to come up with the tools that we need in order to start the evaluation process. We have to have something done by October, the end of October. So on this Thursday, it would just be to discuss the tools that takes for the evaluation. Somebody got it misconfused saying we're evaluating our superintendent. We would not disrespect her by an evaluation without having the tools and everything in proper place. Policy, Governance, and Legislation Committee report.
Rhea Stewart, would you come up and give the update?
Thank you. Do you want me to address the policy that was added to the agenda at this point?
No.
Just give an update on the committee meeting.
Okay, so we had are you referring to the meeting on yesterday?
No, the committee meeting, which was held on September the 10th.
The policy committee meeting that was held on September the 10th, we just reviewed, we didn't review any policies on September the 10th, but we did discuss the ongoing legislative agenda process. Okay, so we did discuss proposed legislative agenda items, and we sent out an email to the board members to solicit any particular ideas that you may have around the agenda.
What is the timeline for all board members to submit their proposals?
We asked for those proposals to be submitted by the 30th of this month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Procurement Committee report. The items are on the agenda for tonight. General Counsel report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No report.
Before I bring the superintendent's report up for her report, I want to recognize the Tennessee Valley Authority. On today, they had Commissioner Otay out in her schools, donating school supplies to the students in the District 5. District 5, they were out today donating, and we just want to thank them for their partnership with Memphis-Shelby County Schools. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to start off. I know we removed item 12.1. It was for Prodigy, but we did ask the student to be here tonight, the legacy builder who actually lifted this as an opportunity to be spread across the district. So while it will be under additional legal review, I did want to start out by acknowledging Andrew Ellis, and I think his mom is in the audience. If you're here, Andrew. Did he leave? There he is. Come on up, Andrew. Come on up. So when we think about bringing to the board the best decisions, many of those are certainly led directly by our students, but all of them are informed by our students. And so Andrew led the conversation, rallied and galvanized the energy and the spirit of the other 149 legacy builders who were in the space, had robust conversations about the impact of the same. And so we want to shine the light on you, young sir.
Thank you, Dr. Fagans, for inviting me to this board meeting and recognizing me for my service to the district. And I just want y'all to know that I truly think Prodigy can work. And of course, it's not without its cons and pros.
Just raise it. There you go.
But I do think Prodigy is amazing. I just had a interview with some other students from across the district, and they were talking about iReady versus Prodigy, and when I mentioned iProdigy, their faces lit up. And so I truly think Prodigy can work. They have amazing statistics on their website about how they've implemented it, and how there's also even research published by California schools in reviewing how the effects of Prodigy have affected their students' math scores. And so please bear with me, and that's just thank you again.
Andrew is a senior, correct?
Yes, senior at Middle College High School.
There we go. Thank you, Andrew. I think we heard Dr. Watson at Westwood mention a smooth start, which has been shared by many of our principals and leaders. And so much of that smooth start could not take place without one of our first faces, which is generally our general office secretaries. And so did invite them to be here this evening as well. If you are here, a general office secretary, we are fully staffed across the district in that area. We had several vacancies before. I think the increase in compensation certainly helped, but your invaluable service to the district and specifically to your schools, as we have experienced an increase in enrollment and overall trending upward, we thank you. And tonight we shine the light on you as well, if you will come forward. General office secretaries. Come on forward. I know they're out there. Come on forward. They're coming forward. If you will come forward, please, so that we can get your picture with the staff.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so to the superintendent's report, board members, this evening we'll begin. As we approach the quarter, we made the commitment to deliver quarterly impact reports, and so just sharing when we will share those particular reports. Our first one is slated to be provided to you October the 25th. Again, this is our commitment to monitor each of our measurable contracts, and so that's about 300 plus active contracts, and we commit to providing that to you October the 25th. Just to take a look at the assessment criteria that the team uses when evaluating contracts is screened here. Key areas: timeline, budget, quality of deliverables, stakeholder communication, and then there's a risk management, and then an overall contract status. Looking at risk, on track, and off track will be how these contracts are rated as we arrive at the points earned, and then certainly the points possible to stand up. Just the contributions that we've made commitments to via writing, just sharing how those are showing up in our schools or the respective spaces where results are anticipated. 75 nutrition staff, school support staff have been hired as a recruitment update since July 1st. Our new hire food service training, there's some numbers there. We have another one coming up September 30th. Our part-time job information sessions as we continue to stand up ways to fill the many positions that remain. We have upcoming recruitment activities for this particular position, with one tomorrow, a virtual hiring or VA hiring event. Our daily teacher vacancy, elementary has the highest number of vacancies at 75. 4 of those are under HR review, meaning we're moving 4 individuals forward. Special education continues to show a large number of vacancies. We're now at 85. We last reported 86. With no HR reviews pending. Mathematics remains certainly a critical area with 44 vacancies, and 11 of those are under review. Our English speakers of other languages and foreign language have notable vacancies with 20 and 13 respectively. Our enrollment updates, some 110,396, and so there appear to be some double counting in our pre-K space, and at the CDC, the Child Development Center, we're looking at 110,356 students, and so I've asked the team to think about what contributed to these errors in our reporting, but certainly sharing our updated enrollment as of yesterday as we look at the projected numbers for fiscal year 2025 in comparison to 2024. We're certainly higher with 108,610 in week 8 of last year, and we're at 110,356 this year. So a lot of metrics here on this slide. What we've attempted to do is just return. Our last presentation of this was end of year, and so as we have entered the year, just breaking down our metrics, what you're looking at here is K-12 metrics for September, highlighting decreases in teacher vacancies, unlicensed teachers, absenteeism, and small changes in enrollment. As we take a look at the teacher vacancies, there's 6.2% of our teacher positions are currently vacant. 7.9% is where we entered or finished last year in our non-charter schools. As we look at unlicensed teachers in our non-charter schools, these are, or district-led schools, this is 19.1% of educators currently hold teaching permits and limited licenses. Current enrollment of all schools, 106,317, and so you see the breakdown there. Pre-K enrollment, 4616 for all schools, and you see the breakdown across charter schools and then district schools. Absence rate, all schools, 6.6% is the average percent of students who are not in attendance. Certainly, we're down about 2% here in terms of the change. Our chronic absenteeism is down overall. It's down at district schools and certainly down at charter schools. So we're trending in the right direction if we keep this pace, and certainly we can stand a few improvements there, and we have some initiatives and some work going into that. Looking at K-5 space only, This shows a drop in our K-5 enrollment, absenteeism, and chronic absenteeism in the month of September, with charter schools seeing increased enrollment and lower absentee rates. If you're looking at the current number of enrolled students at all schools, for K-5, you see 51,273. You see the greater loss being at the district schools and the increase of 652 at charter schools. An absence rate, you see 6% is the average of students who are not in attendance at all schools, and you see the breakdown here, district schools and charter schools. Chronic absenteeism, this is the percent of students missing 10% of school days for any reason and who were enrolled at least 50% of the year so far. 21.5% of district schools and 18.3% of charter schools, and overall 20.9% of students have missed 10% or more of school days so far in K-5. In our middle grades, 6 through 8, current enrollment, overall 23,966 students. You see that it's an increase of 603. In our district schools, 18,191, so there is a slight decline, or a decline there, an increase at our charter schools in grades 6 through 8. An absence rate of 5.6% in all schools, district schools 5.6%, and certainly charter schools across the board it's 5.6% in comparison to last year's just right at 8%. Chronic absenteeism in middle grades, 18.8% of students have missed already 10% of school days for any reason, and they've been enrolled at least 50% of the year so far. Our district schools are seated at about 18.9% so far, and 18.4% at our charter schools. For grades 9 through 12, enrollment increased, absenteeism decreased, and chronic absenteeism saw a sharp drop in charter schools. Looking at current enrollment in all schools for high school, grades 9 through 12, 31,078 students. See, we've increased about 1,500 students or more. In our district schools, that's 26,356 students where the greatest gains have been made. And our charter schools have also increased at nearly 260. The absence rate, 8.4% is the average percent of students who are not in attendance at all schools, 8.8% at district schools, 6.2% at charter schools. Looking at chronic absenteeism, again, this is the percent of students, our high school students, who have missed 10% or more of school days for any reason, and they've been enrolled at least 50% of the school year so far. We're at 29% overall, with 30% in our district schools, 21.8% in charter schools. Certainly our greatest work in this area is in our high schools, or in our grades 9 through 12. Looking at, and we've added off track in terms of graduation rate, so that we start our tracking in 9th grade and track grades 9, 10, and 11, so that we have a deeper understanding of what our graduation rate could look like. At all schools right now, 27.3% of students are off track for graduation. At our district schools, that's 29%, and our charter schools, that's 14.8%. Grade 12, our seniors, 42% across all schools of seniors are projected to be off track for graduation. That's nearly half of our senior class, and so our greatest efforts are there. 41% or 41.4% in district schools, and nearly 50% in our charter schools, sitting at 48.7%. And again, this is the current cohort 2025, and grades 9 through 12, those are our metrics. Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Love?
I would be interested to know what percentage of the absenteeism is contribute to suspensions and expulsions.
We'll get that data.
Commissioner McKinney?
Thank you for that report. Superintendent Fagans, can you explain, because I think for the listening public and for the public, why we include charter school data in these reports?
Sure. So charter schools in many areas count in our data. And so as a district authorizer, we are responsible in many regards, or at least the responsibility for sharing out, providing resources, maintaining collaboration, although the autonomy exists for our charter schools in many spaces like enrollment, attendance, the data is still shared. In graduation rates as well. In other areas, that particular information is standalone, but we still share it out because the money passes through in terms of the funding through the district.
I have one follow-up thing. So I appreciate that we are now doing the Charter Advisory Council, so that's some of the things that we can talk about, how we can leverage possibly resources and possibly programming, or we can do some thoughts around how we can work on these things together.
Commissioner Love, second time. I'm following directions.
The number of students that aren't on grade level, I would be interested to know how daily attendance attributes to the number. 2 years ago, I was in Tresman High School, and there was a high number of ninth graders who haven't been to school in 2 years.
Yes, thank you for that question, Board Member Love. When we think about off-track rate, which is why we started to track it here, so graduation rate, for lack of better words, is a lagging indicator. That's just what happens after the fact. What we have to do is what we're doing now is tracking it on the front end. So as an individual, a student enters grade 9, which is what you're lifting here, we're monitoring closely how they fare at the end of a quarter, how they end at the end of the semester, so that we can ensure that they remain on track, meaning if a student lacks success in a course, we either re-enroll them or we stand up an additional action plan to ensure that they obtain that credit, so that when they transition to the next grade level, they have the number of credits certainly that is necessary for matriculation, meaning to move to the next grade, but more importantly, they have the number of credits that are necessary to keep them on track. So ideally, if a student is taking 8 courses in high school or 7 courses in high school, you at least want them to attain 5 of those 7 credits. All of them is the goal and the expectation, but at least 5 keeps you on track. As you matriculate to the next level, it doubles and it adds up. And so if we know where a student is semester by semester, and certainly year by year, we're more likely to decrease the dropout rate, because we can step in with students who aren't showing up as early as their freshman year, but certainly we can make summer school more substantive and any additional credit recovery programs that are necessary that a student needs to re-enroll in a class, or expand our master scheduling efforts so that students retake a course that they failed. Don't want to pour too much information tonight, but did want to share why it was important to add the off-track monitoring to our metrics, so that we know by student and by school how our students are doing. Attendance, to your specific question in the contribution, it is absolutely attendance. The more days that a student misses, the more class that they miss, which is why our Come to Win initiative is so important, where we've shared and will continue to share the impact of 1 minute, 10 minutes, 1 day, 1 week, the impact on learning and instruction, but certainly when we think about off track, that's the direct, or certainly one of the direct contributing factors.
Commissioner Murphy.
I think, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Superintendent, I think you answered a little bit of my question, but we still have a lot of students that still is not registered in school at this time. What are we doing? Are we communicating with the families? I just want to know how we're going to move from here to get them enrolled in class.
Through the chair, thank you, Board Commissioner Murphy, for the question. As we think about the number of students who are already missing classes, we took a look at the number of students in terms of overlap that ended the year having missed classes as well. And so certainly those students that ended the year chronic absenteeism, truancy, they started the year as well. And so our efforts are with the community, with our families, to stand up a massive meeting. We have about 1,538 students right now who have 8 to 23 or more absences already. And we plan to have the conversations with them about what they need for sure, educating them about what it means to be chronically absent or truant, but also more importantly, if there are resources that are needed, being able to partner them directly with our partners and vendors in the community while understanding that there are legal ramifications and consequences and outcomes with consideration of compulsory law. As you think about directly enrolling, we do have some students who have not enrolled for various reasons. Some families are experiencing houselessness, as we know. Others are still choosing a district. Others we have not been able to get in contact. So by district, we plan to share that information with you so that you can look at it by district, the efforts that our that our schools have been carrying out so far with making the phone calls. We have several who have gone out, knocked on doors to check and see if addresses are accurate. And so we'll be able to share that comprehensive review of the just over 1,000 students that have yet to enroll.
This is a broad district, and we need more hands on deck in order to reach the rest of the families that have children that is not registered. How are we going to do that when we don't have enough staff?
Through the chair, Board Member Murphy, in terms of not having enough staff, I'd have to seek clarity. Are you sharing at our schools, or if you can provide a little more context for me?
When we had seed, they were there to help out with absenteeism. They were there with truancy. They were reaching out to the families that were homeless. And we don't have that many hands on deck right now, but we have too many children still out of school. And so we need more hands on deck to reach these families, to see what's going on with these families and why their children are not in school. And so we need more help.
So we have family engagement liaisons, truancy liaisons, and attendance liaisons who have been leading this work, and they're in the schools. And so they've been making the calls in tandem with the team, either problem-solving team or the school support team, in making these calls and efforts. Some of the students we're still trying to track because there is a gap, if you will, in understanding who is enrolled in charter schools. I think that is where the question that is lifted earlier, that's where that dichotomy exists in terms of the sharing of data. And so some of the students could be enrolled elsewhere. Some of them could have moved out of state. There are many dynamic factors as we consider the students who have not enrolled yet. Mm-hmm. Again, this is standing it up against projected enrollment. And several of these numbers were for our pre-K students. And so we've lifted in previous conversations about why many of our families have either left or not chosen to enroll, or generally speaking, the funding that is required for pre-K, which makes our numbers, the gaps there. If we're looking at the numbers specifically about where enrollment is greatest, just want to go back to that slide for a second. We anticipated 5,080 pre-K students, and we're at 4,633. As we look across the board, our CDC, we're exceeding enrollment there. As we look at alternative enrollment, certainly we don't want as many students there. As we look at charter enrollment, you see that it is down as well. As we look at Excel, Memphis Virtual, meaning our schools, Memphis Virtual Adult High School, looking at the projected numbers, all of those have exceeded or right where we projected it. So it's really in our pre-K numbers where we're missing most of the students that we expected or projected to be enrolled. We also anticipated many of the ASD mergers or from the mergers, return of those schools, if you will. We anticipated many of those students coming back to us, and they did not. And so enrollment here, pretty fluid, but not necessarily because these students are in our schools or are supposed to be in our schools.
Right, because we still have a lot of students that's out, and we have to get them in class. And you say you have somebody in each school, but something is not working because we still missing thousands of kids. Something is not working because we have that many. You have a liaison in each school, from my understanding. And if we have a liaison in each school, but we're still missing thousands of kids, then something they're doing is not right.
Commissioner Williams?
Can you tell me today how many classrooms are without a teacher?
So we have 358 vacancies. These are instructional vacancies, and on the screen is the identification of those vacancies, 7 in art. I don't want to read them all, but that's where the vacancies exist. With a few under HR review, the 21, meaning there's someone that is in the pipeline and moving forward in the onboarding process. So that 358, the true vacancy number is 336 as we think about who's moving. But today there are 358 across these particular classes.
So that means we've had about 50 or 60 classrooms without instruction or certified instruction. With that number, we still have a large number of people who are teaching without credentials.
That's correct.
So I am curious to know, in your thinking, what impact will that have on the outcome of achievement this year? We have too many vacant classrooms. I know it's a big lift. It's across the nation, but something has to happen to fill the classrooms with teachers who know what they're doing and who can teach children. And those who are there, you got to wear them out because they're trying to cover the whole school. And they'll probably start dropping out sooner or later, but I don't know how it's going to impact and how it will be positive without teachers standing before children who can deliver instruction. I don't see anything in that but failure.
Board Member Williams, of course, we've had multiple conversations about this, and so we certainly align in our thinking about the impact of not having a teacher, 1, certainly the impact of not having a certified teacher, 2, and then as you've asked about, what is the impact and do we know the correlation, if you will, between those who are not certified but on the permit and those who are still moving through the pipeline. I won't speak directly to that because I'd like to get the official data for it because I do know that there are several teachers who are operating with a permit who have proven quite effective. And so I want to make sure that I share the right and accurate information because we do appreciate those who are aspiring to become fully licensed. While we think about the greater question and ask, which is recruitment, and you are certainly aware of our efforts because you've participated and supported many of our hiring blitzes. And so it is not because of lack of effort, but certainly as you've lifted as well across the nation, this is a challenge. Losing some 300,000 teachers in the pandemic, that is not something that we will recoup in any time soon. As we work to make the field more attractive to the degree possible that we can as a district, Memphis-Shelby County Schools, I think we are doing that. As we work to continue strengthen compensation to attract the most qualified individuals, I think we are doing that. As we continue to stand up the types of recruitment efforts through our Move Memphis, our partnerships with our residential facilities to provide housing, and certainly additional ways that we are thinking about filling these positions, but certainly it is not without being stated when it's brought to the board to have the real critical conversations about our buildings, the number of buildings that we have, the enrollment in several of them, and the true decisions that have to be made, because if we had the same number today with fewer buildings, if you will, then we could fill more of our positions. And so there are a lot of decisions that are forthcoming that we will all be responsible for making as we keep the question that you've centered here in mind: how do we fill these positions in the best interest of kids and certainly for the performance and outcomes, but ensure they have the type of educational experience that we'd like to afford them.
Very clear to me that we will not move the needle without teachers. If we cannot have as many teachers, the percentage of unfilled classrooms, and think that we're going to make advances, it's impossible to do. So that has to be a priority of getting folk in front of children who can teach and will teach what they need to know to be successful.
Commissioner Otay?
Since we're on the topic of absenteeism, Chair, Vice Chair, Superintendent, as I was visiting the schools today, very grateful for TVA. I want to give them a shout out again for being one of our community partners. Emailed every teacher in my district, and they all emailed back something that they wanted as far as supplies, and we went and we gave every school in our district supplies today. And so as I was going through, a couple people had some things that they wanted to mention regarding the vaccinations. Apparently, some of the kids were automatically re-enrolled this summer, and the information was not updated, and neither were shot records received. I'm just kind of asking, this is what was told to me. So a lot of the kids are out of compliance as far as having the vaccinations. I received a call, so I didn't even know that my son didn't have everything. When I thought everything was up to speed, we have to send it over. So I sent my documentation over. But you have some parents that aren't that quick on their feet to get that done. So I do think it's not a bad idea to have, I don't know the guidelines, if those nurses can give the vaccinations, or if we can have the health department come in so that we don't have to withdraw those kids, because they're going to have to be withdrawn because they're going to be out of compliance, and we're going to be having even more students not at school. So just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention.
Commissioner McKinney, second time, and then Commissioner Murphy.
Thank you. Through the chair, one thing, can we get this loaded up to board docs so that our public can see this as well and we can share it? The PowerPoint, yes, Superintendent. Now it is? Oh, it takes a little while. Okay. Next thing that I would like to say, Superintendent, you raised something while you were talking about permitted teachers, and you indicated that you are starting the process for looking at those permitted teachers, because some of them have actually done some really good work and are level 4 and 5s, and it is a state issue that we have that won't allow us to keep those permitted or to shift them into permanent teacher positions. So I think this is when we have to put in our legislative agenda items, this may be something that we can take to the state as a legislative agenda item, particularly since we need to be creative given the shortage not only in Shelby County, across the state, but across the nation.
Thank you, Board Member McKinney. And just to be clear, I think what we're emphasizing is that while 3 years is currently the state's expectation and requirement in terms of the amount of time that you have, what we'd like to underscore and emphasize for consideration is the consideration for those who may be level 3 and 4 to have some level of exception, if you will, if they've proven to be effective for our students. So just wanted to be clear about what we would be advocating for. I know we've had a little conversation about it, so just for the record, and certainly align with the same.
Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Superintendent, I would like to piggyback off of what Commissioner Williams said, because I spoke with some teachers that are in classrooms, and they are English teachers, but they're teaching trigonometry, and they know nothing about trigonometry. I've also had some teachers call me and say that they put in applications for a teaching position, and they still never got a call, or they never got looked up, they never did anything, nobody never even called them back. So I'm getting those calls as well. And this is coming from the students that's telling me that their teachers are not math teachers. They know more than the math teacher. So we have to do something, because it's about our kids, and we need the right teachers teaching in the right classes versus putting a teacher in a class that don't know the subject.
Through the chair, Board Member Murphy, I appreciate you elevating what I would share would be concerning. So I want to say this delicately. While we have a need, as many districts do across the country, we're not desperate in such a way that we would place an English certified teacher teaching math. So I would like to know offline, who that
offline,
is.
I will tell you offline.
Oh, absolutely.
I will tell you.
So that we can right that wrong, because that is more detrimental to hello there. That would be more detrimental to a student, if you will, than the current status. And so offline, look forward to hearing that from
While
you.
we talking offline, I'm gonna tell you about that felon that's teaching too.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
offline.
Through the chair. Yes, offline, we will continue the conversation. I appreciate that, but I want to be clear that as deeply committed as we are to filling the vacancies, our commitment is deepest to ensuring that we have qualified teachers. And so we have certified substitute teachers who are retired, and they serve us well. And so I want to make sure that we recognize them also. While we have true vacancies, our coverage has averaged between 88% to 90%, meaning that's how many of them we've had covered from day to day. So we appreciate it. We've also had several retired teachers, Board Member Williams, to reach out, and they want to return to do this work. And so while I may or may not be asking you to do the same, I am sharing with you that the interest is on the rise, because they understand the urgency of now. And so I appreciate all of board members' concerns. Certainly know that it is shared, but we will not place anyone before our students that cannot contribute to their good.
Thank you.
Commissioner O'Tay, you're second, and Commissioner Porter.
Superintendent, I failed to ask the question of who we have that can work across the district with the schools to provide the health vaccinations. I know the seat office was doing that at one point, so who do we have in place that we can kind of get that going?
Sure, we do have our own health center, but we also partner with the Shelby County Health Department. And I think one of these items, or at least one previous, was about vaccinations and expanding our work there to ensure that it's happening. There is a deadline coming. We haven't reached it just yet, but
Close.
quite confident. Yeah, we're pushing it, but certainly our efforts are there.
So are we going to put anyone
Dr.
in the
Whitelaw
schools?
oversees.
Okay, so Dr.
the work.
Whitelaw will be able to provide us with some information.
That's right.
Okay,
And
so
we'll get, I think you're looking for, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just for clarity, you'd want to know just where we are right now in terms of the number of students who would be missing those vaccinations or any required records as well, and then certainly what our efforts are to ensure that we contact and reach them. Is that accurate?
I want to know who we would, when we could put someone in place right away, because there's a lot of students and we're going to be approaching the deadline pretty quickly. I know one school had 90 students for one grade level. So we need to put someone in place quick. And so I just want to see, do we have someone we can go ahead and put in place as soon as possible to start that? Because we do have certified, qualified nurses where, I don't know the contract, but they could administer the vaccinations right there.
Commissioner
So-
O'Tay, let's talk about doing a health fair in that area to see about getting the vaccinations.
Awesome. That's-
Like a one-stop place.
Perfect. That answered my question. Yeah.
Yeah, and will you share that specific school that you're highlighting with 90 as well?
That's plain. Yeah, there's a lot of schools that have. Rather not. But yeah, it was shared with me. One school had 90.
Okay, we'll review the data again. Not sure that we saw that, but we'll review it again. But overall, certainly understand your sentiment in terms of the focus.
Commissioner McKissick.
Porter is next.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Porter, I apologize.
Thanks, Chair. I may have missed it in the presentation, but was there a way to track the students coming from the ASD schools back to public schools, Shelby County schools? Is there a way to, was it the data that precise?
So we thank you through the chair, Board Member Porter, for the question. So when we attempted to monitor this data, a lot of gaps. So we had the list, if you will, but in terms of knowing where those students are, it's a matter of looking at each roster, seeing if they showed up somewhere across our district. In terms of tracking if Marie Fagans, based on leaving, XYZ ASD school, did she go directly to Craigmont as we expected? We only know that if we had the record, right? So there's about we projected 3,729 students to come to us from ASD. I will make sure do we have those numbers, Bill? Of how many students? Mr. White?
Good evening, Superintendent and board members. That number actually is what's projected to be the ASD district's enrollment, because the dollars actually come to us and then we have to distribute those to the ASD. But we can look into your question of the students who We were to receive from the ASD. How many of those actually ended up with us? But we can do that.
And I appreciate that. Yeah, I was just trying to see if was the data that precise. And then another question is, just curious on the district efforts of trying to recruit out of state. Just trying to see how many teachers was actually, chose to come to Tennessee and will come to Memphis rather to teach. So if y'all had the information.
Absolutely. We'll give you the data of interest in terms of interviews and applications, as well as those who actually chose. Absolutely.
Commissioner McKissick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to recommend if there are any further individual questions like this, if we could maybe address them with the superintendent and move forward with the balance of the meeting.
Okay. One more and then we'll be done. Commissioner Love.
I just want to give a shout out to the resource officers in my district and all around. Last week was crazy, and you guys held it down.
That's true. That was worth the third time. That's all. Unfinished business.
Yeah, we're up to the first reading of policy. 11.1.
11.1, first reading, proposed policies, first reading. Ms. Stewart.
Superintendent Fagans, board members, if you can recall, last month, the board passed a resolution requiring a policy to be drafted and presented to the board regarding the position of the board district general counsel. We have this policy before you this afternoon, and there are 7 components to the policy, and I'll just give a high-level overview. The first section deals with the established position of the board district general counsel, including his or her primary responsibilities and general duties. The policy next outlines the office of the board district general counsel and the departments that will report to the general counsel. It also states that the general counsel is authorized to hire employees within those departments as well as to set salaries. The policy also authorizes the general counsel to enter into contracts as well as settle disputes. It also outlines a conflict of interest, compensation and benefits for the general counsel, an evaluation and performance review that must be conducted annually, and we've also included a severability clause.
Ms. McKinney, did you want to?
Chair, Vice Chair, Superintendent, motion to suspend the rules. Yep, we're going to suspend it for the board district general counsel.
Yeah, this is to suspend the rule. For those of you who are new, policies usually take 2 readings. There's a first reading where no action is taken, and then the next month it comes up for adoption. This one, it is possible to adopt if it's something that's important and needs to happen now. If you suspend the policy, you may adopt this at this meeting. So, and that can be combined, by the way, to suspend the policy and adopt. That's what she's asking for. So one vote will do both.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes, that's fine.
Commissioner McKissick.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Porter.
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy.
Aye.
Commissioner Love.
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney.
Aye.
Commissioner Otay.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Chair Coleman.
Aye.
You have 9 in the affirmative.
That motion passes. Ms. Stewart, do we have the Tennessee school visitors code for
First reading. First reading.
first reading?
Yes, that's up.
Sorry about that. Yes, we do have the TS, it's actually the TOS model policy for Visitors Code of Conduct.
No action needs to be taken on this evening. It'll come up again at the next meeting for adoption.
Motion to suspend the rules to adopt on first reading.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Chair Coleman.
Aye.
We have 9 in the affirmative.
That motion passes. We are now on to the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Let me speak to that. It is your right to remove something from the consent agenda. If there's anything you'd like to talk about or ask a question, everything on the consent agenda is done with no more debate. So if there's something you'd like to move, it will move down to request for action. McKinney?
Commissioner McKinney?
Yes, I'd like to move item 12.5, approval for Head Start 2025 continuation application and recompetition application.
Commissioner Love?
9.20. Yeah. I was asking to move an item off the consent agenda. The window replacement. Yeah. Yeah. 12. 20. Oh. Yeah, yeah. I just have a question. Yeah. One question.
All right. That's it, I think. If you will read them, then we can do the whole spiel.
Okay.
Skip the first one.
12.2, adoption, thinking mathematically, the 8th edition. I don't have a dollar amount.
There's none.
12.3, contract approval, RCM Healthcare Services, $315,675. 12.4, contract approval, Power of Words Therapy Service, Speech Services, $129,000. 12.6, approval Shelby County Health Department Immunization Event Partnership.
No cost. This just isn't bold, is all.
Contract approval, School Links, in the amount of $433,685. 12.8, contract renewal MOU for the school-based liaison program between juvenile court and Memphis-Shelby County Schools, $25,000. 12.9, contract renewal MOU for the youth court program between juvenile court and Memphis-Shelby County Schools. No dollar amount. 12.10, contract approval Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company for administrative services only rates, $41,900,000. 12.11, contract approval Project Lead the Way grant. Acceptance of $30,000 for Maxine Smith STEAM Academy. 12.12, approval Pure Music and Entertainment Group donation in the amount of $100,000 to Cummins K-8. 12.13, approval Electric Responsible Recyclers student desktops in the amount of $252,040.32. 12.14, approval Thomas Consultants student laptops in the amount of $1,167,698.70. 12.15, contract approval 806 Technologies for Title I Great web-based platform in the amount of $121,440. 12.16, approval DeSoto County MOU, no dollar amount. 12.17, approval Master Service Agreement Cognia Incorporated, no dollar amount. 12.18, contract approval Enlighten Inc., Sherwood Middle School, in the amount of $202,000. 12.19, approval TCAT dual enrollment agreement, no dollar amount. 12.20, contract approval Project Bill Phase 1 HVAC upgrades in the amount of $24,714,135.70. That one's removed. That one's moved. 12.22, approval former Vance Middle land lease in the amount of $5. 12.23, contract approval Holland and Knight LLP in the amount of $108,000. 12.24, contract approval Project Bill roof replacement in the amount of $13,729,413.53. 12.25, oh, that's it, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda in a second? Motion by Commissioner Porter, second by Commissioner Hewitt Garcia. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love, Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Board Chair Coleman.
Aye.
You have 9 in the affirmative.
Thank you. The consent agenda passes. Request for action. 13.1, approval resolution to disapprove of the proposed termination of the Memphis Area Transit Authority bus routes in support of Memphis City Council gun referendum.
Was that read into the record at the last meeting? Okay. All you need is a motion and a second.
Matt, can I get a motion and a second?
Motion to approve. I think everybody added their names on it, and I see this one.
Yeah.
Just make sure that.
Everybody did.
Great.
Yeah. Second.
Roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Commissioner Hugh Garcia, second by Commissioner Murphy. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love, Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Board Chair Coleman.
Aye.
We have 9 in the affirmative.
That motion passes. Thank you. 13.2, approval ad hoc committee on strategic partnership initiatives plan.
That was removed.
Okay.
Next one. And then there's two that came down, 12.05.
What's 12.05?
12.05.
12.05, the New Start Agreement.
Yes, I merely took it off a consent agenda because I need clarity on what we're being asked to approve. So I would like to, through chair, as superintendent, what are we being asked to approve? For the recompete, not the for the recompete.
For the recompete part?
Yes.
Okay.
Through the chair, Board Member Murphy, the recompete application opens on October 16th. Board Member McKinney.
I've been called McKinley, and now Murphy.
Still thinking about her last comment, that's all. But I'm focused. The recompete application opens on October the 16th. I think the reason the team was placing it on here was to get ahead of it. I think that what the board would probably want to consider is a special call so that you review the actual application itself. I think what was being asked here was jumping probably a little ahead for the recompete in terms of seeking the approval, because the approval comes through the board. So for the recompete, which opens October the 16th, it has a 60-day window to complete it. So that one, I think we would be okay to move. And if necessary, call a special call unless there's some information that I haven't been made aware of. I think in our conversations with Head Start, as well as others, there hasn't been any information given to me specifically that would state that we need to have it on tonight's agenda, but certainly provide additional details that would support. Ms. Gordon?
Good evening, Superintendent and Board Commissioners. We're asking for the board to give us permission to apply tonight. This is what you're voting on. You're allowing us permission to review the application and to apply for the continuation that will complete the school year, and then apply when the grant opens in October. So tonight, we're just asking for permission from the board for us to apply.
Commissioner Murphy?
I done pushed that button.
Yeah. Commissioner Love?
Piggybacking off what I spoke about last week, Superintendent and Davlin, are y'all going to receive a consultant to draft this grant?
So we have an internal consultant. I think that the misbelief, if you will, is that we're trying to complete this application by ourselves. So there's certainly someone in the finance department who has the insight here. We've certainly filled out the application before. Where there is additional insight that is necessary, we certainly would not be, opposed to having a deeper review. But looking at the previous application, for me, it's more about what we're able to state about how we've addressed the issues that are highlighted in the deficiencies, and sustaining a way forward that does not have us in the same space again. But where there's additional support needed, we would receive it where necessary.
Thank you.
Commissioner McKinney?
Thank you. Through the chair, I understand that is this required by Head Start for you to get our permission to apply for the recompete? That the board, or is it that you're gonna have to bring this, because there's two things. There's the permission to apply, and then there's the permission to actually submit. And so the question becomes, is this coming back to us? Is this coming back to us? Or, because that's my understanding, unless I misunderstand how this works.
Through the chair, Board Member McKinney, as I have shared, the language has not been provided to me that says that we need to seek permission to apply. What has been provided to me is that we need permission to submit the application. I did request a review of the documentation in 2018 or so to share the same thing. That was not provided to me. What was shared is that it existed, that you approved the actual application. And so if there's something new, which is what I've asked the team to provide to me in terms of any language that has changed, because there have been some changes with Head Start, that is yet to come to me. So I am in the same space as I was when the last information was provided to me. That's based on the information that I have.
Chair, I would just, again, this is not to hold it up, but again, you're asking us to approve something we haven't seen. And I do, since it hasn't been posted, it's my understanding, I'd like to suggest that we take that piece off and wait until we actually have the application to approve. And then let's go ahead and move on the continuation application.
Commissioner McKissick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Superintendent, if I just can ask for clarification from Ms. Gordon, because Ms. Gordon, my apologies, but I know that I was a part of the process the last time. There was a very elaborate process for the application, and as a board member coming down to your offices. Can you maybe, just to help provide more illumination for the board, that when you're asking for permission just to even get the process started? Is that what you're saying here? Because it required, the last time I was a part of this review process, it was very elaborate, and they had to, pick board members to come and sit in on communication and interviews, and they had people who traveled in from out of state. So is that what we're asking here, asking for permission to get that whole process started? Just to add clarity to that, please.
So it's two parts, Commissioner McKissick. The first part is we are funded till December 2024. The second half, the application is due October the 1st. So tonight, you're giving us permission to finish the continuation application. And then on October the 21st, when the recompete application is put out on the street, then we will apply for that. We have 60 days after it is posted. We will come back to the board with the completed continuation, the recompete application. But tonight, you're giving us permission to apply to finish the school year. And then when the application is posted on the 21st for the recompete, we will bring that application, the full recompeted application, back to the board. Superintendent reviews, senior leaders reviews, and then the board will get the final review for the recompete.
Okay, so thank you for adding that level of clarity, because, and just to make sure for the listening public, the reason why it is important to get this process started now, why you're asking for these two votes, if you could just provide more information so everyone's crystal clear, the board and the listening public, on why it's important to, why we can't wait until, or maybe even, I guess we could have a special call meeting, but if we can get it done tonight, starting it, can you speak to that, please?
Because we have such a short time frame with the continuation, it is due to the Head Start Regional Office October the 1st. So it's the same budget that we have applied, that you have approved. It is just now saying what we will do with the monies for this school year to finish out the school year.
So thank you so much. So to our parliamentarian, can we do these two items with one vote? If so, that's what I'm moving for us to do.
Your motion is to divide the question yes, you can do it. If there's no objection, you can do it, or you can do it by vote. It would take a majority vote of those present and voting to divide the question into two parts.
I'm not asking to divide the question, just keep it as it is what I'm saying. That's what my motion is, just to continue.
That's where we are right now.
Okay,
No one has
well,
moved to divide
I
the
so
question.
move.
So there's a motion to adopt. Second, did I hear?
Second.
Yeah. And this is adopting as it appears before you, with both parts. We good? Go ahead, roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
No.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Board Chair Coleman. You have 8 in the affirmative and 1 no.
One in the
One in the
Oh,
negative.
1 negative, I'm sorry.
motion is adopted.
The motion is adopted.
Now, window replacement, this was Ms. Love's.
We're now on to 12.21, approve a project build Phase 1 window replacements. Commissioner Love, Vice Chair Love, I'm sorry.
Tito, if it's all right with the superintendent. Superintendent first, then she will hand it off to Tito. Several board members asked the question throughout this year, when are we going to see the updated Phase 2 windows and roof replacements? The reason I ask that is because I've been receiving a lot of calls from my schools, Scenic Hills in particular. They have been on the list for 14 years.
Through the chair, thank you for the question, Board Vice Chair Love. Ms. Stewart, if you will provide the response to Board Member Love's question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Love. As you know, we're finishing the facility condition assessment, the district-wide assessment. I believe we have 28 assessments left so that we have a better way to prioritize all of the projects. I will look back in previous administration's prioritization levels and see where Scenic Hills is or was. That was not on this phase.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
May I get a motion and second for adoption? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter, Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Chair Coleman.
Aye.
You have 9 in the affirmative.
That motion passes. We are now on to our strategic allocation items. I will now read the resolution into record. Resolution approving MSCS Board Member Strategic School Fund Allocation September 2024, dollar amount $91,200. It is recommended that the Shelby County Board of Education approves the MSCS Board Member Strategic School Fund allocations for September 2024. Is there a motion and a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hewitt Garcia, second by Commissioner Murphy. Roll call vote.
Commissioner McKissick,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Porter,
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy,
Aye.
Commissioner Love, Aye. Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner Otay,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Board Chair Coleman.
Aye.
You have 9 in the affirmative.
That motion passes. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, colleagues.